So I wanted to share with you all, if you don't have a lot of money, you can find your hands on one of these. This is an MRE. This is like 3 years old. I'm gonna get you. Some of these meals are getting really good. Right? You just heat them up. Right? There's some really good ones. There's some really not so good ones. But you can get like 12 of these for like, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks. It's like $3 to $5 a meal. Right? And the way you cook them, it's not that difficult. Right? It's it's a poor man's food. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but we've changed. I wrote the contracts for these new meals as of today. I wrote the contracts. And there is supposed to be a date of manufacturing on each one of these packages. Because if you ever get candy in them, you know it's going to say Best Buy 2024. You know it was made well before that. And you just toss those right in the trash. And I'm just praying that the armed services, and they're pretty good at it, put some medicine in it. Now, the poisoning that we've received, if you get one of these meals and they've put medicine in it, in the beverage base or whatnot, it will only really help you if you've received a military shot. And I have. I know that's strange, but it is what it is. My favorite so far has been the meatballs with tomato sauce. And this is spaghetti. So, it is what it is. And I wrote the contracts for these companies. And you're supposed to have 2 beverage bases. They're the real small, thin ones in each and every one. Now, this is a lot of trash. So obviously you're not going to see these too much on submarines unless the Navy SEALs are there, the Marines are there, whatever. And it doesn't really apply to the Coast Guard, but they have them as well. But these are basically for ground soldiers. And it is what it is. But if you get like 12 of them, and hopefully they're good and some of them are not, it's supposed to be beef. There's a couple pork versions, but we don't eat that. You don't mess up our DNA, right? You just grab it over here. Right? Oh, see, that's ridiculous. And I wrote the contract. And if you're not following the contract, I wrote the contract for the armed services because, believe it or not, we are the armed services. And I don't know why they don't set some new ones. Because apparently your service never ends. And these troltards want to take our service records and mount them on their wall. This is spaghetti with meat sauce and tomato sauce. And believe it or not, this smells pretty good. Now listen, you only need one of these a day if you're not doing a lot of stuff. So you take your spoon. Well, it's not that hard to open. Of course, you civilians and us can only get them, but I think the military should be sending me the new ones. Now, the medicine they're supposed to be putting in is called Uron, and it fortifies the shot you got in the military to stop the poisoning, the blood poisoning. And that's pretty good. But I say we make it a little better here with some warm cheese. Now I prefer it if they stuck jalapeno cheese spread in every single one. This is ridiculous. It doesn't matter how you open this up, but well, some of these are easier to open up than others. And if that fails, you just grab your handy dandy knife or scissors and do this. But I swear, if you have like 200 bucks, you could get like 50 meals, and it only takes one a day. And that's $3 to $5 a meal. It's cheaper than going to McDonald's. And these are good. And I'm not saying they come out the same way, if you know what I mean. But nothing like eating 3-year-old food here. You can see that. That looks awfully appetizing, doesn't it? But hey, it's better than nothing. It's better than sitting in World War II behind enemy lines having to go house to house with a bullshit piece of paper that says the Fuhrer says you have to get me some food. And then you just mix it all together. Mexican style beans and rice is fantastic. I just wish they had the jalapeno cheese bread. Of course, you got Italian breadsticks, which are not very good. You could also put that in there, and I'm gonna pass on that today. This is good. This is not that big. So I wrote the contract. These people who make these, and there's a lot of little companies, and they're in different places. The date of manufacture is supposed to be on the new ones. This is like 2 or 3 years old. They're still good. And you're supposed to have 2 beverage bases, the small ones. So you know. And if they don't do that, you'll lose the contract, and I will begin making them. And I asked all the soldiers, the real ones, what they actually wanted. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And after the nonsense of the last few days, you're all about to see more Celestials in our family that's been stuck for a very long time. Because someone in their right mind won't turn me into a baby boy. And I know they run their mouth and they say, hey, there's mommy's boy. It's my mother-in-law. Was I a mommy's boy in Vietnam? How about World War II? How about the Civil War? How about the Revolutionary War? What about World War I? What about the war when we take out the Roman Empire? These morons are painting smiley faces on the ships they're making. And they slide into a planet. They start eating up all the materials. They're making this. They wreck the planet. The people on Solaris, which I renamed chlamydia a long time ago, so I could tell my son to go deal with that infection, can't even go in the ocean. And we're the motherfuckers who will make hell freeze over on a planet. Just to fix it. And I'll give you a fair warning. Once it first snows, and it stops and it warms up, you can expect the cold front to arrive very shortly. There'll be glaciers all over that motherfucker. Anyways, it's a friendly advice from you all. If you're having a hard time making it, you can scrounge up some money. Get you a box of MREs. Hopefully they're alright. These ones are fine. These motherfuckers are getting good. Anyways, have a good day.